Welcome to the ABQ Accent, where catalysts, innovators, and risk takers share what their accent is on their work. Like a spoken accent, we all have an inflection or emphasis on where we put our energy. Join us to learn how these folks are putting their accents to work, building their vision of the future, and how you can get involved. Hi everyone, I'm Mariah Harrison, and this is the ABQ Accent. I have a brand new guest with me today, Bobby Sisneros. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. You come highly recommended by multiple sources, I gotta tell you.
Oh, thanks.
So we'll see where this goes.
I think I have to write some checks.
We'll see. Or maybe just take me to lunch or get me coffee.
There you go, right?
So I do want to do a little bit of an intro because you have such a distinct history with the city of Albuquerque.
Okay.
I want you to either fill in holes or maybe tell some stories to fill in where this all goes for you.
Sounds good.
Okay, and I want to get it right, so correct me if I misspeak at anything. Bobby Sisneros is one of the deputy directors at ABQ Ride. How long have you been there? When did you actually, this position? What year?
This position I started January of 2022.
Okay, right on. And as deputy director, he oversees security, training, marketing, planning, and information technology divisions, where he drives initiatives to improve city ridership, expand service efficiency, and strengthen public engagement.
Yep.
Do you also sleep?
Sometimes.
Right. In 2022, Bobby also served as interim director and also at one point a marketing specialist for ABQ Ride. You have nearly 2 decades of leadership experience across municipal operations in Albuquerque. So to name a few, and then I'd like for you to jump in.
Okay.
Planning manager for what used to be called the Family and Community Services Department, where you led a major emergency response operations, including the establishment of 6 non-congregate shelters during the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you. I was around at that time. And spearheaded a web-based emergency shelter bed tracking tool, essentially figuring out how many beds we had available or could use and were being used.
Correct.
Right? You were marketing manager at Solid Waste, where you led the Keep ABQ Beautiful program. Again, thank you. And you've also been the public information officer for multiple city departments.
Absolutely.
And again, you come widely recommended because you are known for your ability to unite diverse stakeholders and implement creative solutions.
Well,
good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate you. So, Bobby, you and I don't know each other very well, but in the brief times we have met, there's some energy. There's some, I think, pride in the work that you do. I want to hear more about that. How did you come to this role?
How did I come to the city of Albuquerque?
Let's start there.
I guess my passion for the city itself. When I was a kid, like most kids growing up in Albuquerque, I hated it, wanted to get the heck out when I turned 18.
Yeah.
But when I was 13, my mom's job moved us to Lubbock, Texas. And at that moment, I realized how great Albuquerque really is. I missed the mountains, the smell of chili roasting in there, the state fair, the balloons in the sky, and I missed the people.
Right.
So when we came back 3 years later, because my mom's job moved us back, I decided I was never leaving Albuquerque. Then I got married, started my own family, and I decided I want to go work at the city and make the place that I love better. Okay. So that's how I got to the city of Albuquerque. Getting to this position, it's just been a lifelong career progress, step by step on the rung of, each rung at a time.
I'm calling it an expedition. That's what I'm calling it.
The expedition to get to being deputy director at ABQ Ride, absolutely. Yeah. I started off in the grocery business, hated it. But now I look back on it and realize that was probably the best thing for my career. I learned customer service skills. I learned how to manage folks, learned how to write budgets. I learned how to listen to customers. From there, I went and opened my own business. I learned how to network with people. I learned how to rub elbows with owners of different businesses, learned to get the need and understand what's going on in the community. And that's when I came to the city of Albuquerque. And when I was in the city of Albuquerque, I saw quickly how important it was as an individual to serve others. And I recognized that that's what my role was in the city. I started off, believe it or not, at the very bottom of the ladder. I was a graphic artist for transit back about 18 years ago. And I slowly worked my way up, went from that to marketing specialist over to solid waste, some of the things you named.
Right.
And then Mayor Keller asked me to come back in 22. And I was able to bring all of that experience to this particular role. And it's really made a difference.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a little piece of nostalgia for your career so far. Was there a role in Albuquerque at the city that you felt was particularly special, maybe an amazing group of people or a particular experience that widened your scope of abilities?
Yeah, I think every position I've been in has been very memorable for me for very different reasons. First coming at the city, I remember thinking, wow, this is where I've wanted to be for so long. And then when I get here, I'm like, this isn't what I expected. You know, there's a lot of different, it's just a different environment than what I was used to, especially coming from being self-employed. Came in here, I had to quickly learn the new rules and, you know, how city government works. But at the same time, you learn to appreciate city government more, you know, recognize how city employees are trained to take care of the taxpayers' money, how we put them first and how everything we do is for them. And it just really widened my respect. And I just wanted to do more for the city at that point. But yeah, if I had to pick one role that really stands out for good and for bad, it would be my time during COVID, running the COVID isolation shelters. I worked with every city department at that point. And because of the emergency, I just happened to be the guy that, you know, that I was in charge of all the hotels.
No pressure.
But I got to meet a lot of great people. And then when I came into this role, I was able to reach out to them to get help and the things that I need now. And I really believe in partnerships and making those partnerships, and that role really helped that.
Yeah. Well, and in response to what you mentioned about working at the city and having a deeper understanding for the services that are offered and the people behind all of those, I think a lot of people would really identify with your explanation of building the partnerships and relationships to do so, because we don't all work in one big room with cubicles.
That's right.
We are in different buildings. We're in different floors. We have to actually go meet the people where they are. And this is one of my favorite things about my job is maybe when I came on during the pandemic, I met people over Zoom or email. And more, I have such a deep appreciation for the staff at the city of Albuquerque getting things done. And may I also commend you on your work during the pandemic. I did a piece that reflected how we worked with nonprofits during that time. And I was really impressed by the way that we were innovating to provide spaces that for families that needed, like you said, particular places to be or the unhoused. We'd never actually worked with hotels in that way before. Right. And you had an incredible response.
Yeah, I mean, and I just want to make sure it wasn't just me. I mean, I had a whole team, and that team, I mean, I still see them and we still have flashbacks, you know, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, during COVID, I think across the city, we all had to think differently. You hear all the time, nothing's the same after COVID. And we had to learn how to manage differently. We had to learn how to respond to folks differently. You know, I tell a story. One of the gentlemen that was there with me, he was in charge of a different, they're called ESF. He was in charge of ESF 19, I believe was the number, and that was to provide food. And so I turned to him and I told him, hey, we have 6 hotels. I'm going to need food for all these people, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'm going to need snacks in between. And his response to me was, where are we going to find that kind of food? And I told him, well, as luck would have it, we have a lot of small restaurants that are closed right now. Maybe we can call them and then they can provide food for us. So we really figured out a way to keep the small businesses involved and keep money rolling through their doors. And that really helped to keep a lot of people employed. So I'm really, really happy and thankful for the team that I had, because we were able to provide that kind of help to everyone else in the community.
I think it's also influencing the work of ACS and HHH and Family and Community right now to the response that you gave to the community needs. Well,
yeah, I mean, her name was Mariela. She and I were working together during the hotels, and I didn't realize it, but she was laying the groundwork for ACS during all that. And when she announced, you know, ACS, I was so excited because I had seen her teams in action and what they were doing. And, you know, I could call her for a response, and it was just really amazing to see that in action before it became ACS. So yeah, a lot of really cool stuff like that came out of COVID.
Which sometimes feels like a lifetime ago, and sometimes it feels like it was last month.
Yeah. It could stay there.
I agree. So much has happened since then is kind of where I'm going with this, with you, not just your trajectory of your career and leadership roles that you've been able to take on, but a lot has happened at Transit.
Yep.
And I'd love for you to tell a little bit of the story of the things you've been excited to work on since then in this role, and maybe gear us up for what's coming.
Excellent. So when Mayor Keller interviewed me for this position and asked me to come serve as a deputy director, I was excited to come back to the department where I started.
Yeah.
I have a lot of history in that department. It's a great department, but I knew some of the challenges in that department. So I was excited to get back and get to work on those. When I came back to the department, I was only responsible for 3 areas. It was going to be marketing, planning, and IT.
Okay.
I started January of 22, and lo and behold, they launched Zero Fares in January of 22.
That's right.
So
22,
immediately I was thrust into the role of security. I had zero experience in the realm of security, but I had made all those contacts during COVID. So I quickly put together a team, and we got to work to make it safe and still make Zero Fares work. And I'm happy to say all these years later, we've got ourselves a really successful program here in the city of Albuquerque. Thankful that the mayor backed us and supported our decisions and has helped us along the way. City council, a lot of them have done the same. Yeah. And we've done so well that, we have different cities across the country calling us now. And later on in a few months, city of Tucson's coming down to observe, and they want to know how they can replicate our successes because they too are Zero Fare, but they're running into a lot of the problems we ran into early. So they're coming down to pick up some of those tips. Recently, we had a phone call with Grand Rapids, and they were asking the same kind of questions. So it's really exciting that we're able to answer questions for folks now instead of us having to always go explore what other people are doing.
Yeah. Well, and I want people to understand that Zero Fares really means zero fare. It's not a slogan that means some fancy program that people have to look up. It really means that you can ride the bus for free all across our city.
Absolutely.
Right.
All of our services too. We have 4 main services. We have our fixed route service, which is that traditional 40-foot bus you see up and down all the streets. Yeah. We have our ART system, which is up and down Central, which is one of the most successful BRT systems in the nation. It's in the top 5 repetitively. People just love it. It counts for about 40% of all of our ridership. Okay. And then we have our Sun Van paratransit service, which is a premium service. We'll pick you up at your front door and drop you off at the front door.
A lot of seniors take care of that.
Yeah, a lot of folks that aren't able to get themselves to a bus stop will utilize that. And then we have our latest service, which is called microtransit, and that's set up in 3 separate zones within the city where there's not a whole lot of bus service. And that also is, we call that premium service. It's a door-to-door service. And all 4 of those services are absolutely free.
Love it.
Yeah, it's easy. It's frictionless. You get on and off.
There's also something on your website that helps people plan their trips. If they don't have a regular commute, if they want to do something special, if they want to do something with a group, there's assistance for that.
Yeah, so we have a lot of different options for folks out there. You can go to Google Maps, type in your destination, and you'll see that there's a little icon of a car, a train, somebody walking, a bike, or a bus. Oh, okay. You click the bus and it'll give you your bus route. You can download the transit app, and that'll help you plan your trip. You can absolutely go to abqride.com and select some trip planning assistance, and we'll help you with that. Or you can call 243-RIDE, and the customer service agent will help you as well. So there's plenty of options depending on what you want.
Great. And in what you've listed for me, there are multiple ways that are accessible for people to ask for help.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate that. I'm writing it down to remind myself that we will include it in the notes.
Perfect.
And in relation to some of those systems that you're talking about, we have some swag that could you point out what's going on here?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll start at the bottom here. This badge here, this is our latest transit security officer program that we're partnering with APD on. It's been really successful. It's helped to lower incidents on the ABQ Ride system by 21%. We're really excited about that. The system is just getting safer and safer as each day goes on. So we're really excited for that.
Are you recruiting for more junior officers?
We're always looking. So go to cabq.gov/jobs and you can look for transit safety officer. Okay. This little placard here is stay in your lane. This is just a reminder to folks. I live on the northern part of town, so I don't always frequent Central Avenue so much. And a lot of folks only come down here for like maybe the Nob Hill shopping strolls or parades or things of that nature. So when they get onto Central, they might not be familiar with the way that it's set up. So this is just a stay in your lane campaign to remind folks stay out of the bus lane itself.
Very distinct in guidelines.
That card on that end over there is just the rules to ride the bus. Those rules are designed to keep everyone safe both the passenger and the driver.
Yeah.
And it's things like, you can't have rolling baskets on there, because if we hit the brakes too hard, it might roll and hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
No flammable liquids.
Exactly.
Thanks, appreciate
no
it.
open drinks, because we want to try to prevent slips and falls, things of that nature.
Because I will be that person to slip.
Me too. And then Maddie likes to bring along her stress relievers or little buses.
And we can doodle on these, kind of like,
absolutely.
If you approve of my doodle, maybe it'll get a wrap on a bus one day.
Very possible. You never know. Never know.
All right. What else? Anything else you want to?
I think that's really it.
Yeah. What's the Keep Common rate on? Is that?
So this is
just
I mean, we have a marketing team, and creative people like to be creative, and I like to let my team be creative. And they came up with the Keep Common right on, and they have one that's Keep Calm and Ride Low, or because our buses, we kneel them. We call it kneeling, so they can get to the curb easily.
Yeah.
So they just have a good time with these stickers.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, and it also makes what's going on visible. If anytime you're out tabling, or for example, city staff might have some of these, we can always hand out. And the rules to ride is great to know ahead of time too, even whether you're a new rider or a returning rider.
Absolutely.
There's one more report a connection.
Oh, this
or
right here.
Concern.
So this is our latest and greatest app, and it helps with their security and safety. Yep. It's called the CSA app. So I failed to mention this, but last calendar year we had 7.7 or 7.5 million passenger boardings. That's a lot of extra set of eyeballs out there for us. So the CSA app allows those passengers to report something that they see an incident. And that report is in real time. It goes immediately to our dispatch team. So if they see anything, any kind of concerns, they can let us know immediately.
Yeah,
but what's great about this app is it's more than just seeing a crime taking place. Our number one report is because of a cleanliness concern. A bus stop is dirty, or the bus isn't clean. Yeah. And that accounts for the majority of our calls that come in through the CSA app. With the major incidents, it hovers right around 2%. So we were really excited to hear. I mean, we thought it was just going to blow up because everyone thinks the bus is so unsafe, and it's actually the opposite. So we really love that. And once we get those reports, we're able to in real time dispatch a team to get out and clean up the situation.
Right on. Well, and I appreciate what you also mentioned about the ridership being eyes across the city. The CSA app can be used for multiple things, because if they do see something that you felt you needed to redirect to another department, easily done.
Absolutely.
I want to do two things on this. One, you have Adopt a Stop, and volunteers through your department can take advantage of that and be responsible for particular one stop or multiple stops, and they can go out. They're given the tools needed, all the supplies needed to adopt a stop.
Absolutely.
That's through our volunteer page. And you guys have ambassadors. Yep. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so I'll start with the ambassador program. It's our newest volunteer opportunity through ABQ Ride. It's a little more than a year old. We currently have 13 ambassadors. We ask that each ambassador provide or volunteer 2 hours a week. A lot of times they're already bus riders, and we'll give them this bright green lime shirt, and it's by design so that people see you and they can come to you. And the idea to the ambassador is they're there to provide a level of customer service that the driver's not able to do, because they're busy driving this bus, and they got to be safe and keep their eyes on the road and be responsible for everyone on that bus. So the ambassador can answer questions that you might have, like, hey, I want to transfer to get to the mall. Which bus will I take? Or, hey, can I get a job here? What do I need? They can answer any kind of not only transit related question, but they're also geared up to answer city questions too. What I mean by that is a lot of times somebody might be on the bus because it's hot, like today. And the ambassador might recognize that you're hot. Hey, the next stop you can go to a community center, get some air conditioning, cool off, or there's a library, things of that nature. So they really do help to spread the love. That's their role. The Adopt a Stop can be anybody. It could be individuals, it could be a business, it could be a school that wants to adopt a stop near them, or their favorite stop, whatever it may be. We'll sign them up, we'll train them, we'll get them trained to make sure that they're safe while they're out there.
I was thinking it takes some good training.
Yeah, we want to make sure that they're trained up and teach them sharps training, graffiti removal, those kinds of things. And then they pick their stop and they go to work. And our volunteer coordinator at Transit, his name is Dwayne Baker, and he does an amazing job.
Amazing job.
Yeah, he's great.
Yep.
But yeah, so right now we have over 100 volunteers that are participating between the two of them. Last year, I think they provided over $30,000 in volunteer in-kind value. So we're really excited for our volunteer opportunities.
Thank you for that. We'll probably expand on that program at another time, but I appreciate you lifting it up because you know that his work so well. Just a big push has been made for that over the last year or so.
Yeah.
The other piece that I was excited about, if I may say so myself, I've been through the building a couple of times, and one of the things that I think I might want to ask for a deeper tour of is your the dispatch center. Okay. There's a room full of computers where people are watching what's going on. People are talking to the drivers. What is that like to be a dispatcher? Because I know an air traffic controller, what else?
It's busy.
Yeah.
Busy. I think last month, they fielded something like 200,000 calls. And that's between all of the bus drivers, our Sunvan drivers, the calls that come in after hours. They have to pick up the customer service calls. They're very, very busy. If there's an accident on, let's say they shut down Central because there's an accident between Girard and Washington, they have to immediately come up with the detour and then get that out to everybody. So they stay very, very busy. And like air traffic controllers, they're often unappreciated. They do the hard work behind the scenes.
That's right.
But yeah, anytime you or anyone wants to tour, you can go to our website. There's a contact us button to request a tour, and myself and or Maddie, our PIO, will be more than happy to conduct that tour for y'all.
Who knew? I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Please ask for Maddie. She's great. So there's a couple other questions, but I feel like let me divert just a little bit. I know that we're both obviously raving about ABQ Ride and the programs that are being implemented and to come. But there's this whole entire Bobby Sisneros life that might happen outside of that transit building and multiple transit locations. You have multiple sort of like satellite offices. What else? I mean, you've got a family here. You have deep roots socially, professionally. Yep. Are there things that you're doing outside of work that are giving you energy these days?
Yeah, it's always my family. Yeah. My wife. We're going to be celebrating our 28th anniversary on Saturday.
Congratulations.
We have 3 grown children. They're all married. 2 of the 3 have their own kids. One, and the youngest has theirs is on the way. So by the end of I think it's September, by the end of August, I'm sorry, we'll have 6 beautiful granddaughters. And that keeps me motivated. It
Did
keeps
you hear that?
me going.
He's got 6 granddaughters. They're about to have 6. 5 now.
I have 5 now and
That's
1
beautiful.
on the way. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Both my boys are in the Marine Corps. I couldn't be prouder of them. My daughter stays home and homeschools her 4 daughters. And it's just, we're very truly blessed, my wife and I, and we have a great life. And I look forward to the rest of it, so that's what keeps me motivated and going. And then, I know this sounds cliche, but I really enjoy what I do at work. I work with great people, have fun, and it's just, it's great to come to work every day.
I appreciate that. Well, please give your daughters and all your girls my love. That's
absolutely.
Yeah. And your Marines. I feel like this could be a longer conversation and really could be if I had asked earlier, but in sticking to the program, what I want people to also really understand about not just your trajectory of your work, but the philosophy behind your heart really is servant leadership.
Yeah.
And there's tangible ways that people can see that in the staff that work there, the experience they have, the culture overall. Can you talk a little bit about ABQ Ride culture?
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that I used to work at Transit, so I knew some of the ups and downs there. Yep. Just like every department has its ups and downs, right? So I knew that when I came back, what I had picked up in the other departments going through the city, I knew wasn't happening at Transit. So I wanted to bring some of that. But what was really, really great when I came back, and being a longtime city employee, I know that sometimes it's hard to get things done in your positions. So when I came back, a lot of the folks that I worked with previously were still there. And I was able to have a conversation with them and tell them, hey, we can do these things. Okay. Now that I'm in this role, I have access to folks that you might not have access to. Let's use that and let's use it to our advantage. Yeah. And I just really believe the higher I go on the ladder of success, the more I am to serve those that are underneath me. I just really believe that I'm put here for their purpose, not them for my purpose. Nice. Yeah. And together, when we work in that format, it benefits the public, right? So the public gets a safer, cleaner transit system because everybody's buying in and everybody's pitching into that. And it's not just me, it's the other directors at the department. All four of us we're all sold on that philosophy. You
work really closely together.
We do. The four of us, we meet on a regular basis. We'll go to celebrate birthdays together. We'll go have our birthday lunches as a team in a unit. Yeah. And I think I'd have to ask the staff, but I think that kind of trickles down and they see that and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So when I leave, like I said, I've been with the city a long time, and every director I've ever worked for always sits back and says, I've done this. I don't want to be that guy that leaves and says, well, when I was director, we did. I want to be able to say, look what they did.
And you can.
And I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
I don't know if that answered your question, but.
Well, it does, because I think what a lot of us as staffers that often feel like we don't have the ability to make some decisions, if we know that we can go to somebody who can support us in opening some of those doors, making those things sort of like move the system, a lot more gets done.
Yeah. And, moving around like I did and learning how different departments operate and learning how similar we all are at the same time. I also learned that just go do it.
Yeah.
That's what we're paid for.
That's right.
That's your job. Yeah. Let's go get it done. And if something happens, then we'll come together and help you fix it. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. And that was huge for me when I came back. And I mean, I used to have people that wouldn't step out on that ledge, and now they do it without any problem. And that's probably my greatest accomplishment.
You're building their confidence, and that is part of the trickle down too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So at one point you mentioned some books that inspired you, some theories that inspired you. Is there anything that might guide your work these days that you would encourage other people to read up on, or a book or anything else?
Yeah, I read all the time. I'm just a big reader. I don't know where I got that from, but I think reading is really important. Extreme Ownership is a book that I read that just really rocked me to the core, and it really helped me to become. It pushed me to the next level in my role as a leader. I love philosophy, and I think that comes from my background in marketing. I really love to what makes people tick, what motivates them. How do I convince you to recycle or get on a bus? So I read a lot of Malcolm Gladwell books and things of that nature. Those kind of books, I absolutely love them. I share them with staff, even if they don't read them. I pass them along, like, you got to read this book. There's some old books, like the Dale Carnegie, How to Make Friends. Back in the day. Those old books are still ring true in today's business world. I think those are the books that I would recommend.
And then before we go, I absolutely want to leave you with anything you want to leave us with last thoughts, but I am going to ask you, in relation to your broad experience and specifically transit, you've seen the trends of what's happening with transit ridership and where the concept of transit fits into societal challenges. And I know that you're working on multiple things. So we mentioned earlier that, how can I put this? You're going to fix it for me. Transit is a piece of responding to societal needs, but what are the other projects that you're working on right now that are sort of overlapping with transit that are addressing issues?
So I'm going to talk about two major projects.
Okay.
The first one is ABQ Ride Forward. ABQ Ride Forward was an opportunity for us to revamp our system. The current system hasn't been touched or changed since 1990. So this is a once in a generation opportunity.
Until earlier this year?
Yeah, we started last year, in November of last year is when we made the first change. Andrew DeGarmo, our principal planner, started the work in 2021, going out to the public, interviewing folks. He collected over 3,000 surveys. what do you need? What kind of service are you looking for?
Yeah.
In transit, we call it frequency or coverage. In other words, coverage is there's a bus everywhere in town, but that comes less frequent. Frequency means there's not as many buses all over town, but where they're at, they're coming more frequent, so you don't have to wait as long.
Okay.
Well, everybody really fell in love with this frequency concept, so we put together a new system based on that concept.
When you say everyone, you're talking about public response.
The public response, correct. We put together a few maps, put it out to the public, and they voted on the one that we're going to work on now.
Okay.
It's going to take us, at this point, 3 more years from now to get it fully implemented. And that's because we're still working through some of the COVID challenges of hiring enough drivers and mechanics. So we want to be responsible. We want to make sure that any new service we introduce will be able to maintain. So we're doing it in phases. So far we've done 2 phases. We're looking at doing the 3rd phase later this year, and then next year hopefully do another 2 phases. And it's all dependent, once again, on hiring enough staff.
Okay.
This ABQ Ride Forward, you can go to abqride.com and click on the forward link and explore that. It's really exciting because if you've never been on transit before, because one of the biggest complaints is it takes too long. Now we're going to be dealing with the system that's much quicker and less transfers. We call it a single seat ride. You can get in at Northwest Transit Center at Coors and Ellison and ride all the way to UNM in one trip. So that doesn't happen today. So we're really excited for that to happen, right? The second big project has to do with housing. Yeah. We're doing this project at our Uptown Park and Ride, and it's called the Uptown Connect project. Okay. We've partnered with the developer, Palindrome Development, and they're going to build a 4-story apartment complex above underground parking, and we're going to have 2 bus lanes going through the middle of it. We're going to have a restaurant there, a big doggy park, some other amenities. So we're bringing people to transit. Right. There's a severe lack of affordable housing in the Uptown area. So this project is going to bring those units to Uptown. What's that mean for folks? That means that people are closer to jobs. They can hop on ART at Uptown and get to UNM if they want to go to school. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll be a future deputy director at transit, or if they're sick, they got to get to the hospital, they can take ART and get to press, Okay. So we're really excited about that project. Schedule is to close this November. Okay. And we're looking at groundbreaking at the beginning of next year. So we're really excited for Uptown. It's been a project a long time in the making.
Well, there's a bigger story there, which is something we can do maybe another day, or I can collaborate on broadening that story when it does come out, about the connection between transit and housing and where we're at right now with population, and how, as you mentioned, there's not just not enough affordable housing, but there's not enough housing in general.
Well, transit is very important for a local economy. Everybody that's on that bus has dollars with them. So if they're going to get off at the McDonald's at the corner and buy a coffee before going to class at UNM, that's money that was spent in that economy. Right. And McDonald's are owned by local franchise, so that money stays here and it helps folks. Or there's the small businesses up and down Central that they love, or anywhere else on any of our corridors. So transit's really, really important to the local economy. We just have to tap into that and make the best use of it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that perspective, because it sounds like you're honestly trying to serve not just ridership, but when you say the local economy, you're talking about everyday Albuquerque residents. Students, teachers, business owners, etc. Absolutely. Somehow or another.
I tell people all the time, transit might not be for you right now, but one day it might be. Before I went to transit and I was working at Family and Community on the 5th floor at City Hall, I rode the bus every day to and from work. When I was at Solid Waste, I didn't ride the bus. I mean, my job at that point didn't allow for it. Yeah. There's people that ride the bus when they're in college, but once they leave school, they don't get on it again. So transit, to ride it doesn't mean you have to ride it all the time. Right. It might be a season in your life where you need it and you're going to use it. Or maybe one day your car breaks down and your wife still needs a vehicle, so she goes and you jump on the bus. But regardless of who's going to use it or when they're going to use it, we're here for you, and we're going to make it as safe and clean as possible when you decide to jump on. And
that's right.
Now's a good time to try it.
Now is a good time to try it.
Yeah.
It's air conditioned.
Absolutely. And heated in the winter.
And heated in the winter.
And we have great ambassadors to help you.
I agree.
Yeah.
Bobby, is there anything else you want to leave us with today?
I think the big thing is transit isn't what everyone thinks it is. Give it a try. Download the CSA app. If you have a problem or concern, let us know immediately. We want to know. We can't fix anything if we don't know about it.
Right.
We have wonderful tools to help you navigate the system, or you can call us at 243-RIDE if you want to actually talk to somebody to get it done. It's just a wonderful place to be. It's not what it used to be. It's completely different. We're not at 100% where we'd like to be, but we're getting closer and closer to that goal. So now's a good time to try.
Right on. I totally agree. Thank you so much. And one more thing, keep calm and right on.
That's right. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. My pleasure. And then we hope that other people come back for another ABQ Exit.